Night hung heavy over the sea. No wind, no sails, no voices. And yet a single ship drifted through the silence, as if carried by fate itself. At its centre lay a man, weathered, scarred, unmoving. For 20 years the world believed him lost, but now Odysseus was coming home. The stars above flickered as if watching, holding their breath as fate returned to the shores it once abandoned. At the edge of dawn, the ship reached Ithaca. The Phaeacian crew stepped lightly, careful not to wake the sleeping hero. They carried him ashore, set down chests of treasure beside him, and disappeared without a word. Alone, Odysseus lay on the sands of his homeland, unaware he had finally returned. When Odysseus awoke, he did not recognize his homeland. Mists curled through the olive trees. The beach was strange, the air too quiet. Had the gods tricked him once more? Then the wind shifted, and he smelled it, the earth of Ithaca. Falling to his knees, he pressed his lips to the soil. He was home. Trees stood like sentinels beyond the dunes, their leaves whispering secrets only Ithaca could know. Athena, ever watchful, descended in disguise. She found him cautious, not yet joyful. "You are home," she said, "but not yet safe. Your palace teems with vipers." With a touch, she aged him, withered beard, tattered robe, weathered skin. The hero became the beggar, unseen by those who would seek his death. Odysseus sought refuge in a humble hut nestled in the hills. There lived Eumaeus, his loyal swineherd, who tended pigs and nursed stories by firelight. Though 20 years had passed, his loyalty had not faded. Unknowing, he welcomed the disguised king with bread, wine, and the warmth of memory. The fire crackled softly, casting long shadows that danced like old memories on the walls. Across the sea, Telemachus too neared home, his voyage finished, but his quest unresolved. Dreams of his father haunted his sleep. Guided by Athena, he avoided ambush and found his way to the swineherd's hut. Destiny, woven tight by the gods, drew father and son toward reunion. When they met, neither knew. Telemachus saw only a beggar. Odysseus, aged by years and war, dared not reveal himself. But then Athena came again, her eyes full of knowing, and stripped away the veil. Father and son embraced, tears cutting through the silence. The heart knows what the eyes cannot. Their embrace was not loud or grand, but filled with all the words time had stolen from them. Plans took shape by firelight. Revenge would not come with armies or banners, but with cunning. The palace was overrun by suitors, gluttons who drank Odysseus's wine, courted Penelope, and mocked the name of a man they believed long dead. Justice would come, but not yet. Penelope endured. Her days were filled with deception, her nights with sorrow. At her loom, she wove a burial shroud for Laertes, and each night she unravelled it. A promise, a prayer, a delay. Though courted and threatened, her heart remained bound to a man the world had given up. Each suitor's voice grated against the silence Penelope carried like armour, honed by 20 years of waiting. Odysseus, cloaked in rags, entered the palace. The suitors sneered. They threw bones, insults, scraps. He endured them all, his rage buried deep beneath the mask. Penelope passed him in the hall. She did not see her husband, but her soul stirred. Among the servants, he found allies, Eumaeus, Philoetius, Eurycleia, those who had not bent the knee to greed or fear. Quietly, they pledged their loyalty. In secret, weapons were hidden, doors were measured, paths of escape blocked, the trap was set. The stones beneath his feet remembered him, even if the men did not. That evening, Penelope spoke with the beggar. He reminded her of Odysseus, not in face but in spirit. He told her stories of a man who longed for home, who missed his wife's voice, more than wine, more than rest. She wept, though she did not know why. To delay the suitors, she proposed a test. Odysseus's bow, mighty, unyielding, would be strung. Whosoever could draw it and shoot through 12 axe heads would win her hand. The suitors laughed, confident in their strength. They did not know it was a god's weapon, a husband's challenge. She did not look at him as a beggar, but as a riddle her heart had not yet solved. One by one they tried, muscles strained, jaws clenched. The bow did not yield. Their confidence cracked, their hands bled. Laughter gave way to frustration. The beggar watched from the shadows, waiting. Then the beggar stepped forward, the suitors mocked. Penelope, after a pause, gave her permission. He lifted the bow and it welcomed his touch. With ease, he strung it. The hall fell silent. The bow creaked in his hands like an ancient tree, refusing to bend to a storm. He aimed. The arrow flew like fate itself, through one axe, then the next, then the next. 12 blades, one shot, no hesitation. Odysseus smiled, and the gods watched. Athena shed the illusion. The beggar vanished, and in his place stood Odysseus, scarred, broad-shouldered, with eyes like embers. The suitors froze. He raised his voice. "You have eaten my food. You have stolen my home. Now you will pay." The first arrow struck Antinous. Blood blossomed. Chaos erupted. Some ran, some begged, but Odysseus did not waver. Telemachus fought at his side. Servants blocked the exits, and the hall became a battleground. One by one, the suitors fell. Arrogance turned to pleading. Odysseus answered with silence. Arrows, swords, spear points. Justice was not gentle, but it was just. Blood pooled between tiles once polished for feasts, now consecrated by retribution. When it ended, the floor ran red. Smoke curled from toppled torches. Odysseus stood alone, panting. The noise had stopped. The king had returned, not to cheers, but to silence. Penelope entered, and her heart thundered. Before her stood a man of stories, a ghost wrapped in flesh. Was it truly him? Could it be? She decided to test him. She spoke of their bed, rooted in a living tree, pausing in anticipation for his response. Odysseus answered, not with words rehearsed, but with the truth only they could know. Her eyes filled and her doubt shattered. She ran into his arms, not toward a stranger, but toward her husband. They wept as one. The years melted. The war, the monsters, the storms, all faded in that moment. Ithaca did not need a hero. It needed this man and the woman who waited. The storm inside her broke, not with thunder, but with the quiet flood of recognition. At dawn, Odysseus walked the land. The island whispered to him again. He greeted the olive trees, the fields, the streams. Peace had returned, not just to Ithaca, but to his soul. He had faced the Cyclops, the Sirens, the Whirlpool, the Goddess, and the God. But his greatest triumph was not survival. It was returning unchanged in purpose, even if changed in form. Every blade of grass seemed to bow as he passed, as if the island itself exhaled in relief. His story spread, not from scrolls but from lips, a tale not of conquest but of return, not of victory but of longing, of the strength it takes to come home. On Olympus, Athena watched with pride. Poseidon turned his gaze away. The other gods, silent, knew the tale had reached its end. The thread was tied, the Odyssey complete. Fishermen and children whispered his name, not with awe, but with reverence for what he had endured. And yet, it did not end with a crown or banquet. It ended in a shared bed, a silent mourning, a boy grown to a man. The hero's tale became a father's life once more. The storm had passed and the winds calmed. Odysseus no longer sought new shores. He had found what he left behind: love, land and legacy. Not as he had imagined, but as it was meant to be. So ends the Odyssey, not in thunder or triumph, but in the hush of a hearth relit, in the quiet exhale of a soul that has finally come to rest. For those who wander strange roads, who endure storms beyond reckoning, who lose themselves and claw their way back, know this: home is not a place, but a return to who you truly are. Odysseus' journey did not vanish into legend. It became the tide itself, eternal, restless, and always reaching for shore. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a new tale. There's always more to explore here on Raconteur, where legends live again.